Hey guys, thank you for stopping by my channel. If you like the videos, then make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications. If you want to leave any feedback, that's always appreciated down in the comments. And if you want to keep up with this series as well as my other projects, then go ahead and join our Discord, which is on the screen. Take care, nerds. Now on to the video. Hey guys, welcome to episode 8 of my Discord.js bot development series. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to use await reactions, and we're going to build a roles command. So when someone runs this command, they'll be presented with an embed showing them different roles that they can assign to themselves. And all they have to do is react to the message with the specific roles. Also, another thing you might notice is my voice audio quality. I've been messing around a little bit to try and improve my overall editing process. So if you like it, let me know down in the comments, but if you don't, then you can do the same. Anyways, as I said in the previous episodes, I'm starting building out the base of the command so I can save time, so that's what I did here. So first off, this just deletes the command message. So if I do roles, it would go ahead and delete that message. So that's why I put this here. Next is I used collections, and all the different roles are stored in collections, which I'll show you in the docs in a moment. So I got the ID of the role, and I just went ahead and grabbed it so I can get the 3 roles that I want to react with. And you can use whatever roles you want. I just already have these roles, so I decided I'm just going to go ahead and already use them. And then I assign each role to its own variable. And here I have a filter, and we'll talk about that in just a moment as we talk about await reactions. So also what I'm going to show you is collection. Well, I'll just show you collections in general. So collections are specific to Discord.js, and basically it's a map with additional utility methods. So a JavaScript map, but collections extends that and allows you to do even more with a map. So for example, you can use collection find to get a specific role. So val is the variable, and then val.username, that's the variable in the property, which is Bob. So you can, instead of getting the role ID, you can get the role name or its position, and you can just pass through these different properties to get that. Before, it was deprecated, so instead of passing through a variable, you will pass through a key, then a value. So it will look something like this. So it will be collection.find, then the key will be name, and the value will be Bob. Or actually, this will just be name. But this is deprecated now. Instead, you'll just pass through a variable, which you can kind of do more here with just actually passing through a variable. But we're just using collection.get since that allows me to simply get the ID of the role. So, the filter. Using a filter with collectors, and I'll also link more about collectors in the description so you can read more about that, since I suggest you do. There's a lot of stuff you can do with collectors. But a filter filters out that collection. And here we're passing through 2 parameters, reaction and user. So here in this example, it filters out so it's only checks for 1 reaction. And then also filters out to make sure that the user ID is restricted to maybe the message author ID. So that's why I have it here. I have an array of different emojis that I'm going to use to react to the message. And then I'll check if the reaction emoji name includes one of these elements in the array. Then I check to make sure that the user ID equals the message author ID, filtering that collector. So no one else can react to the message other than the person who sent the command. So that's why we have that there. So we're going to go ahead and start building out the command using rich embeds, which I've used in previous episodes. You can go back to that if you're not too sure about rich embeds, but that's what we're going to use here. So first and foremost, we're going to go ahead and build an embed. So as always, you create the variable for the embed, and then you go ahead and start creating embed. So new rich embed that creates the constructor. So we're going to give it a title. and timestamp, and we're going to call it available roles. Then we're going to have a set description here. We're also going to set a color here. And I'm just going to give this orange color since that's my favorite color. And I'm just going to give it a footer. And I'm just going to use template literals here. And this is going to just display the ID of the message author. And that's basically what we're going to have here with the embed. So here in the embed, using template literals, we're going to add the different roles. And that's just going to simply do this. So I'm going to grab each of these emojis, and these are emojis that I just copied and pasted. If you want to get like the Unicode emoji or just the emoji that you want to copy and paste, you can just say if you want to get this emoji, you can put a backslash in front of it, and this you can directly copy and paste if you didn't already know. But we're just going to go ahead, paste these in. I'm going to test this to make sure I don't have to do any further formatting after I put this through. So that's what I'm going to do real quick. That's just that channel.send embed. So, yep, alright. So this will be the different roles that one can add. You can add as many as you want. But I'm just going to kind of hard code this in here since I'm just doing this as a tutorial, but you don't actually have to really hard code this in. You can make this a lot simpler and use arrays and push the elements into array or map or filter. There's a lot of different things you can do, which I'll probably go over down in the future, but for now we're just gonna put these variables right in the description. So this variable is gonna be a.toString, which is moderator. And toString means that it will actually display the role and the mention for that role. So that will look something like this. So when I do toString, this is what's going to pop up, and it's actually going to be able to show up and people can see what role that is. You can also do a.name, and that'll get the role name, and that'll be displayed instead. But I'm just going to do toString so people can actually see the color of the role and such. So b.toString and c.toString. So now we have the embed here, and here we send the embed. But it's next few more things that we're gonna have to do. And here we're gonna make this then use it's kind of like async await, but then is similar to it, and you just pass through an argument here. This will just be message. And here you can access more stuff here, which here will just react to the message with each of these reactions. And by doing that, we're going to use async to make sure that the reactions are sent in order. If not, it will be jumbled up sometimes, and that can get messy. So we're going to do message. You're not going to use message by message since we're accessing this object here, accessing this variable. So we're going to do message.react, and then you're just going to go ahead, type in the reaction, and then you're just going to keep typing out message.react until you have all the reactions in place that you're going to be using. In this case, I only have 3. Okay, so now we have reacted to the messages, but next we need to tell the bot what to do with each of these reactions. And that's where await reactions comes into place. So here you can see await reactions and it passes through the filter. So that's going to be the first parameter that we're going to pass through. Then the different options, and I'll explain each of these options and what we'll do with each of these options. So then we're going to do message, since we're accessing this right here, and we're going to do await reactions. Then we have this filter created, so we're going to pass through that filter. Then we're going to pass through a couple different options. First, max is going to be 1. Make sure. Max is going to be 1, and that means once it receives a reaction, a correct reaction that applies to the filter and everything, it will no longer collect any more messages. Then we're going to set the time, and I'm going to set it to 30,000, and this is in milliseconds. So just simply take 30,000, multiply that by 1,000, divide that by 1,000, and you have 30 seconds. Then we're gonna pass through an error, and error is gonna be time. So the error that the user will receive is that they ran out of time. So now we have this. Then we're gonna do that then again, and we're gonna pass through collected as a parameter. And also we're gonna add in catch. And you'll see what we'll use that for. So, first and foremost, we have to get the reaction. And we're going to do this by doing const reaction. Equals collected that first. So this is going to get the reaction of the first, which is, since it's max 1, it's going to get that reaction. Then I'm going to build a switch statement, and we're going to pass through each of the emojis through that. So if you look back at my third episode, we use a switch statement for the different command arguments. It's similar to this. So we're going to type in switch, and we're going to do reaction dot emoji dot name, and that's similar to the reaction dot emoji dot name, which each of these. Then we're going to add in the different cases. So this will be the first case. This will be the second case. This will be the third case. And that's what we'll have here. And we'll get to this in just a moment, but these cases represent the different emoji names. So once someone reacts with one of these emojis, something's going to happen here. So first thing we're going to do is once one of these reactions are, once a reaction is collected here, we're going to add them to the role. So to add them to the role, we're going to use guild member add role. We're just going to add them to the single role. So here it passes through role ID, but you can pass through a role object like the ones I defined earlier, and it'll add them to that role. So that's what we're doing here. So to get the message member, since I talked about even earlier as well that only certain things can be used on guild member object, and only certain things can be used on the user object. In this case, you can only add roles to the guild member object, which I believe I previously stated. But to do that, get the member object, which is message.member. And message.member is the same as message.author. They're the one who sent the message. Then if we do add role, we're going to do add role A, and that gets the role object, which we defined above, and adds them to that role. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to hold off on that for a second, but we're going to then send a message and say that you're added to the role. You have been added to the, and we're just going to get the name of the role, not the tag or anything, but the name of the role. But we're also then going to delete it after a few seconds. So 3000 milliseconds is 3 seconds. And here we're going to add a catch. We're going to catch an error if there is an error. And the error block is we're going to do this. So first, we're going to console log it. Always console log your errors so you can see what's going on in your code. But we're also going to return with a message, error adding you to this role. Then we're going to display the error, that message. And I'll show you that as well, again, in the docs. So if you go over here to API error, actually, well, this just extends error from JavaScript Mozilla docs, and error.message gives you the message of the error. So not only will it log in console, but you can also see the error of the message. So say if like you have a public bot and someone receives an error, they can just send that to you, and it makes it a lot easier to debug and figure out what exactly is the issue. So that's why we're just going to use error.message and e.message. So that's what it'll say. If you log the full error, then it'll log everything, but e.message is nice to return if you want to send in chat what the error is. So that's what we're going to do here. But if there's no error, then it'll continue and it'll say that you have been added to the role, and then it'll delete the role. Then we're going to delete the original message. So message dot delete. And that's basically how it'll work. So we're going to copy and paste this and do the same in the other case statements. So here we have B, and then we have C. Now here at the end we do have catched, collected, and here we can catch error. Let's say if the user didn't react to the message in a specified amount of time, or any other sort of error like that, we can just return and say message dot. And an example here with React is that it will say collected at size reactions, or you can catch and say you didn't react to this message in time, or you didn't use a correct reaction. So we'll just say I might just say I couldn't add you to this role. So we have the full code here with the case statements, and again it'll switch through these different case statements. Each of these are emoji names, and the reaction is the first collected from the collection here. So when you're going to save this, stop the bot, and we're going to run the bot again. This is just an example code I've been going off just to help me. So we're going to go run roles, and here we have the different roles that you can get. Let's check message that await reaction. Oh, it should be await reactions. So Let's try that again. Make sure everything is okay. All right, everything is okay. So here the emojis represent which role you can add. And I don't have any of these roles right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and let's say just reactive B. Check console, make sure there's no errors, and I've been added to the role. So that's how reaction roles basically work. And you can do more with this, make them more advanced, but I wanted to give you all a basic understanding of how this works. So actually one more thing I will do is to check if the user is in the role. So I'm gonna do that here. So we can do message.member .roles.has, and we're gonna do A. Then we're gonna return we're gonna do message.delete, return message.channel.send, and let them know that you are already in this role. And we'll just stop everything else. And we'll pass that through to the other case statements. So B and C. So you don't want it to continue with anything if it's already in the role. That's kind of a bit redundant if you already do that. So since I'm already in the administrator role and I go ahead and do roles, oh wait, never mind, it just took a moment. So if I go ahead and do this, well, that's awkward. Okay, give me a moment. Okay guys, I think I fixed it by passing through the role.id, so maybe we might have something here, hopefully. Okay, sweet. So it says that you are already in this role. And we're gonna make sure that message deletes as well, so we're just gonna add the same message delete here. And that's just some basic error checking, roles checking, so you just make sure that the user already isn't in the role, or yeah. But that's the basics of it, guys. I don't think I have anything else to say about this, so I'm gonna wrap up the episode here. One thing I do want to say is I created a GitHub for each of the episodes, so if you go to mygithub.com and discord.js, that series, you can come here, and if you click branch here and you select the episode, you can see all the files and such, what I did in each of these episodes. And I basically push this right to the branch, usually right at the moment when I release the episode. So if you didn't understand something or you want to see something straight up, you can just come right here to the GitHub and see all the code that I used. But if you have any other questions, then you can also join my Discord as well, ask me or anyone else. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Take care, nerds. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.